Left-handed from three. Hull comes soaring in again. This uncanny knack. And cashes in.
Is on the upper left wing. Just got inside, circles around, pure.
Game 3 of the WNBA semifinals wasn't basketball. It was daylight robbery. The Indiana Fever had the lead. They had the energy. They had the fight. But then the whistles started. And just like that, the game was ripped out of their hands. Fans in Gainbridge Fieldhouse knew it.
Steph, why don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defense?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. And that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively. We didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm, it's about timing, it's about spacing. We allowed them to do that.
Social media lit up instantly. The box score doesn't lie. Las Vegas didn't beat Indiana. They were gifted that win. And the most infuriating part? It erased Lexi Hull's career-defining night. From the opening tip, the officiating leaned one way. Indiana played physical, but clean. They bodied up. They defended straight up. But somehow...
Wilson is 1 for 12. Foul is called on Boston, and that will be number 2 on Aaliyah Boston.
You saw Indiana picking up full court pressure defensively, and if you're Aaliyah Boston, that's the one spot on the floor you do not want to get a foul call.
And Stephanie White is trying to...
Those possessions always ended the same way. Vegas at the foul line. Asia Wilson throwing elbows. Nothing. Aaliyah Boston battling down low, whistle. The pattern was clear. This wasn't just tough luck. It felt like favoritism. By halftime, the Fever could have taken control, but every time momentum swung their way, the refs stepped in and dragged it back. Fans weren't imagining it. Clips spread online within minutes. Possessions slowed down, free throws piled up, and Indiana's rhythm was strangled. Steph White said it flat out after Game 2. It's hard to get flow when there's a foul every 10 seconds.
Score. So now the Aces cut it to 2, and then Asia Wilson sets an illegal screen, and they tied things up. And then Lexi Hull gets called for a foul for doing nothing when they just had 2 illegal screens they didn't call. All right, so this is fair. Same thing happens on the other side, but they don't call a foul for Kelsey Mitchell. So Leah Boston gets called for this foul for getting her arm grabbed, but Stephanie White can't challenge. They won't let her. That's the second time this game they didn't let her have her challenge. And then
Game 3 proved her right. The nightmare sequence came in the third quarter. Aaliyah Boston challenged a foul call on Jackie Young. White motioned for the review. The bench was ready, but the officials didn't even acknowledge it. Seconds later, Chelsea Gray buried a 3, and the Fever's hard-earned lead evaporated. The crowd went from roaring to gasping in disbelief. Clips of the sequence went viral almost instantly, complete with freeze frames showing the ignored challenge and the momentum-swinging bucket. And that was just one moment in a night full of them. Every replay seemed to show the same story. Aces shoving, flopping, elbowing, and somehow walking away clean, while Fever defenders were whistled for breathing too hard. Fans inside Gainbridge didn't just boo, they exploded, waving arms, screaming, demanding accountability. The refs shrugged it off. That's the double standard that defined Game 3. When Vegas pushed,
Boston has the mismatch on Lloyd. Help comes. Kick out. Hull will fire. And hit from 3. Last 2 positions inside from Indiana. Smith tied up by Hull. And a jump ball between Smith and Hull.
When they leaned, when they extended their legs on screens, it was ignored. When Indiana fought back, instant foul. At one point, Asia Wilson threw her shoulder into Boston, sending her tumbling. But somehow it was Boston who got the foul. Lexi Hull set a legal screen, Wilson stuck her leg out, but the call went against Hull. Over and over, Indiana's contact was treated like a crime scene, while Vegas's physicality was rewarded. The result wasn't natural momentum, it wasn't skill. It was points manufactured by whistles. But here's the thing. While most players would have folded under that kind of officiating, one Fever player refused to let the night be defined only by bad calls. Lexi Hull wasn't even supposed to be out there. She aggravated her back in Game 1. She was listed questionable. In warm-ups, she looked stiff, almost limited. Nobody expected much. But instead of logging a few token minutes,
Clear out, letting Jackie Young go to work.
Jackie Young with 17 points. Boston to the corner, hole, catch, fire, and hit. Correct Paul. Evans dishes. Ray whips a pass inside. What a denial from Lexi Hall.
The Hull able to save the play.
12-point game, a little under 2.5 to go. Hull hits Indiana's first field goal of the
Hull delivered the best playoff game of her career. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. 6 of 10 shooting, 3 threes that felt like lifelines every single time Vegas tried to cut into the lead. And the numbers only tell part of it. She threw herself into every scramble, every loose ball, every rebound. She played through pain with her face twisted in discomfort, yet still dived onto the hardwood, battled taller players for boards, and knocked down shots under pressure. That's why the crowd connected with her. Fever fans saw grit. They saw sacrifice. They saw a player who wasn't going to let bad officiating erase her fight.
wide open three is good.
The floor that she wants, doesn't it?
It does. Mitchell, connect. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell, one more. You bet.
Hull became the heartbeat of Indiana. Every time the whistles sucked the energy out of the building, she gave it back with a rebound, a block, or a dagger 3. She tied the franchise playoff mark for made threes in 2 games. She set her playoff career high in scoring, all while playing through an injury that should have kept her sidelined. In any other game, that performance would have been the headline. But on this night, it was buried under controversy. And that's what makes it feel so wrong. Hull's career night was overshadowed because the officials dictated the story.
Here's Boston, back to Hull. Sets herself up. Mitchell is free, laying it in. Been a while since Mitchell has gotten a shot attempt. Mitchell will get one here. And hit.
Meanwhile, what about Vegas's superstar? A'ja Wilson came in as the face of the league, an MVP candidate, the supposed unstoppable force. She opened Game 3 with a 3-pointer, a flash of dominance. And then, silence. By halftime, she was 1 for 11, 1 basket in nearly 2 quarters of play. She finished 6 for 20, 13 points on 20 attempts. By any standard, that's a disaster. But it wasn't just an off night. Aaliyah Boston locked her down. Every time Wilson turned, Boston was there. Every time she tried to bully her way inside, she was forced into awkward fadeaways. Wilson looked frustrated, rushed, and completely out of rhythm. For 3 quarters, she was a non-factor. And yet, Vegas still won. Not because of Wilson, but because the whistles bailed them out, and her teammates picked up the slack.
It's the 3rd quarter and they want them to win. So here we go. Ace is up by 3. They call another foul for A'ja Wilson that isn't a foul. All right, so then they call another foul on the Fever that isn't a foul. And then to end the game after it's out of control because the Fever had a 6-point lead, but they kept calling fouls, another foul for A'ja.
Jackie Young carried the Aces with 25 points, hitting dagger after dagger whenever Indiana tried to pull back ahead. Chelsea Gray chipped in 15, steady and calm, burying tough shots when Vegas needed them. Nalissa Smith added just enough plays on both ends to tilt possessions. Together, they patched the holes Wilson left behind. And with the referees handing out freebies at the line, that was enough. What makes it worse is how the media spun it. Wilson's box score was awful, but instead of calling it what it was, outlets padded the story. They highlighted rebounds, blocks, a couple of assists. They shifted praise to Vegas's depth. What got lost? The real reason Wilson was so ineffective, Aaliyah Boston was hounding her every possession. That was elite defense, and it deserved recognition. Instead, the narrative softened the truth. When an MVP shoots 30% on 20 attempts, it's not just a rough night. It's domination by the defender in front of her. But that storyline didn't fit the league's favorite image, so it got buried, just like Hull's heroics. And here's the irony. Becky Hammon still complained after the game.
A lot tonight. To shoot 1 free throw in 38 minutes, I know they told me not to say anything, but I can't.
She said Wilson was hit all night and only shot 1 free throw. Think about that. Vegas lived at the line across 3 games, got every whistle in the book, and their coach still wanted more. That's how comfortable the Aces have become with favorable calls. 3 games into this series, the pattern isn't just frustrating, it's undeniable. Indiana has been fighting 2 opponents at once, the defending champs and the officials. And the officials keep swinging harder. Which brings us to what comes next. Game 4. Back inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. 17,000 fans ready to erupt, ready to turn the arena into chaos, ready to make sure the Aces feel every second of it. This isn't just a playoff game, it's survival for Indiana. 1 more loss ends their season, but the Fever have weapons. The plan is no secret. Push the tempo early, get Boston touches down low, force Wilson to defend without the safety net of constant whistles. Establish Kelsey Mitchell, who struggled in Game 3.
This first half, Young attacking and denied. Timpson on the block. Hull needs some help. Dump it in Boston. Find the cutter. Timpson lays.
Because her scoring and lean on Lexi Hull's momentum. If she brings that same fight again, the Fever's spirit stays alive. Vegas has cracks. Wilson's confidence is shaken after being locked down. Jackie Young is carrying too much of the load. Their depth, which looks steady at home, hasn't faced Gainbridge's storm at full volume. If Indiana exploits those weak spots, this series flips. And here's the bigger picture. Sunday isn't just about keeping the season alive. It's about exposing how hollow Vegas's wins look when whistles don't protect them. Because if the Aces have to beat Indiana straight up, without constant foul shots, the edge tilts. And every fan knows it. The Fever didn't lose Game 3. They had it stolen. But the story isn't finished. If Boston keeps owning the paint, if Mitchell finds her rhythm, if Hull brings her fire through the pain, and if 17,000 fans turn Gainbridge into a storm, Indiana can flip the script. The Aces aren't unbeatable. They're beatable when the refs step back and let basketball decide the outcome. And Game 4 is Indiana's chance to prove it. If you believe the Fever aren't done yet, drop a "Let's go Fever" in the comments. This series isn't over, it's just getting louder.